I mean, like, of course, the whole story always evolve over time. Like, you always, like, find it takes you places where you had no idea you were going. But the ending, yes, it's always been in my head. And actually, when I first like wrote down the whole pitch, the ending, I tried to squeeze all 3 seasons into like one season because I was like, what if I don't get another one? And then as soon as we started to work, everyone was like, Lisa, you're gonna have to like divide these up. And I'm like, yes, I know, but what if we don't get another one? But I mean, I think I needed in the story for these teenage characters, I think I needed to know their end point, to know where to start the story and to know where to start them off, because it also helps you to kind of be able to push them a bit further throughout, because you're going to end up at this place. So and even if I think some of throughout the years, some of my colleagues have pushed a little bit, I guess I haven't really told anyone also the ending really until we did the 3rd season. But I do know that some of them, I think, wanted it to be maybe like more of a tragedy, like felt that that would have been like more powerful, like story wise. But for me, it was like, no, this is what happens. This is the decision that we are pushing Wilhelm towards, both Wilhelm and Simon on their respective journeys. I know. And it's also very interesting because like the last uh because you now have a feeling for how an episode in the Young Royals universe throughout the season, how it's structured, just because it's a few minutes longer than all the other episodes, that the ending where you feel like, oh my God, it's going to end here, is when they are outside the school saying goodbye to each other. So it also helps to kind of like actually lean into that and be like, oh my God, like Lisa's going to do this to us. What? And then it's actually the last little like turnaround. Wow. Oh, no, it sounds wrong because I'm like, oh, it's so many things. I'm so proud of so many things, but um, I do think it's the combination of especially this 3rd season has been absolutely delightful to work with. I've had the best like year. Like every stage of the process was brilliant this last season, and with so many creative people who like they were so I could trust them so much and they trusted me, and it was just an amazing collaborative process. But so partly I'm happy about that. About I met the team this week watching 2 of the episodes together, and everyone, no matter what kind of position they've had, was like, this was such a fun time. Like we had such a good time, and it's not often that that's the case uh, in my industry. So it's partly that we managed to do that, and then also, I mean, I am proud of yeah, getting to tell a very tragic, but at the end of the day, hopeful story. Um, and for it to have taken on its life of its own through the fandom, and it's like inspiring people. I think some of the messages that are the hardest to read are people who, who are teenagers who have had suicidal thoughts and they just hang on, but for like their favorite show. And like, I mean, uh, if it can get one kid to just hold on and keep living, I'm like, that's it for me. Then I'm happy, and then it's done its job. And but that's obviously like a privilege because they've created their own fandom, and they're amazing, and they are supporting each other, and they found love and compassion with each other, and it's so cool. Like all the young royals couples basically, but to all the fans, that's amazing. Um, and yeah, from a Swedish perspective, I'm very proud of the ending. I think it's very typical Scandinavian, the melancholy, to want to end on a sad note. And I'm very happy that we got to push it and yeah, have that hope in the end, you know. Oh, wow. I want to tell them to, I want to tell them it's gonna get better. Uh, if you're in a hard place right now, it is gonna change. I've seen it, I've lived it, I've seen it in all of my friends, in my family. Things can change and they will. And go out and live and be kind and compassionate and brave and find like joy is coming for you. Take yeah like take care of yourself and everyone, because you deserve it, and every single one of them, no matter if they've written, you know, terrible things about myself online, I'm like, things are gonna change, it's gonna get better. Not necessarily, maybe. I mean, I do think it's interesting. It's so different from me speaking to international journalists or like anyone outside of Scandinavia. One of the Swedish journalists actually asked me, like, or he told me, he didn't, it wasn't a question. He told me, like, oh, but you, yeah, I mean, you don't really care what's going to happen with Simon and Wilhelm. You only care if Wilhelm is going to become king or not. And I was like, yeah, well, maybe that's because you're like a white, straight man, that you don't care about that. And that you think, you know, like a lot of the, some Swedish people who don't like the show, it's basically like, oh, but you know, it's no problem being queer anymore. Like you can come out, and they are often from like Stockholm, middle class, upper class, not like seeing the same issues as the rest of us do, and probably not knowing that many queer people to begin with. So yeah, of course, it's this whole season is a way for me to be like there is still, like, this is still a social injustice that is happening to us, and I think by the ending, I've really had this saying in my head throughout the show. It's like, it's never too late to give up, which sounds very depressing, but what I mean by that is like, it's never to give up on, it's never too late to say I was wrong. I've changed my mind. It's never too late to let go of bad traditions and things that are harmful and don't serve you. It's fine to let go of that. Uh, there is freedom to be found, and everyone deserves that. If you're living your life and you're not hurting anyone, um, everyone deserves that freedom. We only have this little time and space where we are alive. Why try to, you know, stop people from having these experiences? Yeah, sorry, lots of. I just hope they carry them with them in their hearts, and that they feel like it's not like things, yeah, life is tough, and things can happen that are tough and that are very sad and that hurts you, but it's okay. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to, you don't have to carry the shame. You don't have to, you can make mistake, and you can make mistakes. You are allowed to make mistakes. We all do. And I hope they can just have them as, like, you know, a soft cushion to think about when they need courage, or something to challenge them when they feel like they are, um, need to remember to be kind and compassionate and brave in their own lives, you know. Well, I do. I mean, it's all connected to each other, and it was connected through Eric being a part of these. Obviously, this initiation rites, which is, by the way, stolen from. I stole, like, I read about a initiation that was done in the 90s, and I would kind of imagine, like, okay, so how would this idea of a prank, how would that be done today with like modern, like with like social media and everything. um So I took that on, and I just wanted to kind of bring like this idea into the school. That, I mean, because we've been from the beginning, we've been showing it as, yes, a very traditional and old place, but also somewhere where they are kind of progressive. You know, no one is like shouting, you know, like horrible words at Wilhelm and Simon. That's not what's happening. And I think it's pretty accurate to some parts of society now, where we feel like we are progressive, we have moved forward, and everyone has moved forward a little bit, but we are still underlined with this homophobia is still present. And but no one might, like as with all social injustices, very few people are like, oh, I'm a racist, or I'm a sexist, or I'm actually I'm homophobic. But you still commit these acts because they're just a part of, you know, the layers of history and everything. And it just felt like such a perfect way to bring it all together in this school, and to still leave it open to, you know, are they actually going to close or not? It's, you know, a very privileged school. They have all the like the best lawyers in the world. Are they actually going to stay closed? You know, but to have them have like a wake up call as well. It felt really important, and also with Eric, you know, because he was a character that people really have loved, and I love him too. But the way we set him up, you know, he's running the errands of the Queen, and he's trying to get his little brother to behave in a way that's good for the royal house. And it was just something he haven't Eric didn't have to challenge or rethink what he has been doing, or rethink the structure or these things. He haven't had to challenge that, but Wilhelm does, just because of his sexuality and his love for Simon. And it changes a lot of things. Battling the budget. It's always, I mean, to be fair, it's always the thing where you try to take everything that you want to do, and you try to squeeze it into a budget that's reasonable. And I think that was also, season one was really hard to make for us. We were running really behind, and we had to cut so much out. It was so many different locations, and it looked beautiful, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy for everyone who pushed, like, and gave it everything. But it wasn't sustainable for season two. I knew we had to rethink in order to be able to tell the story and continue. So that has been the hardest part. And then, of course, in some ways, it's easy to you know, kind of see the trends online and see what people are wanting to see, and then knowing in yourself that we are not going to tell that exactly. We are doing our story, and to carry that throughout, and to know that people are going to be upset about certain choices. But me feeling like I've gone through all of the scenarios with my team, we have talked about it over and over again, and me feeling like, no, this is the choice we are making. And to then stand there when people are like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? You're like, yes, like, and they sometimes they don't understand that we have thought about all the things that they like are processing themselves. I'm like, yeah. I've done this for 5 years. I've been working in this world. Yes, I've thought about these things as well. That has been hard, and that's been, I think, the thing that I've learned the most, because I've never had the fandom. I've never had people or the audience caring this much for a story. So while this like fandom have been studying us for the 2 first years, I was studying them a lot. Now I've also learned that I need to just like let them have their own have their own, you know, process with it, and just let go and be excited and happy.